to get out and walk and talk and find out what's working for you, what's not working. And some of the goals or quests you might have, so that we can then say, okay, and other communities have faced this problem too, but this is how they solve it. And I've never ever been in a community or a neighborhood where the issues were exactly the same. There's that much complexity to all that's out there. And we also, as we walk and talk, we're looking for some example pilot projects, things that can be done early on, things that could be done with low cost. And then as we garner additional strength and energy from our city council members, our legislators, and so on, then we can start to say, okay, long term, let's build these kinds of things. Or let's change the way we build our roads or operate our roads or whatever. And I'll just use as an example, this morning we were surprised at first how wide the intersections were and how fast people would turn. But the answers may be a little simpler than going out and rebuilding those intersections. And we'll probably discover the same thing on our walks today. So, I wonder if we could just go around real quickly and each person say what you would like to get out of today's session, and that way I'll be able to orient myself and focus on that. And can you start? Could you do that?
I would like a free lunch.
Okay.
My primary concern is the homeless here in the immediate area. How we can address that for the betterment of the homeless and the better of the community.
Yes. Excellent.
Mine would be a safe passage for the elderly and walk in Wahiawa and the community.
Yes. Age in place.
Right.
We do a lot of work with the AARP nationwide, and it's a fast-growing interest throughout the entire nation for us to watch out for our elders, let people not have to leave their homes to live in the communities that they invested in.
I'd like to know what we can do with the existing sidewalks, unimproved sidewalks we have without formal concrete curbing. That's what I get out of it. Good.
Well, for me, because my route where I walk, there are sidewalks, but they're not very good. It's like you're going there, leaving there's homes all over the place. It's if you're not really careful, you just fall.
Exactly. And it's especially a problem for our elders, as if a person who's older falls and breaks a pelvis or something. That's really the beginning of the end. So we have to really do well for getting our sidewalks where they're level, where you cannot, easily trip. In fact, do you want to talk about what happened this morning?
We had just met up in Waimanalo, and we were going to get a cup of coffee. And we went across the street and was walking to 7-Eleven. This is just a very short walk. And there was a big asphalt block, a loose block, sort of out in the middle of the sidewalk, unimproved sidewalk. And I wasn't paying attention. And I tripped over it and fell and almost took out another person with me. And come to find out, I broke skin and it bled. And it's bruised now. It's pretty, my knee's pretty. And kids, my main thing is safety for the kids going to and from school. And the kids use this pathway a lot to get to school. So.
Yeah. And you're lucky you're young, or you could have broken a bone.
Okay.
Actually, the path I walked through, it's very good though, actually, look at those sidewalks. Could be bad, I guess, but.
Yes.
But it's a good.
Okay.
I guess a lot of the work we do in office is focusing on live, work, play, and what can complete streets help with that concept, get more ideas on what's actually done nationally that we can use here in Silver.
Great. Great.
So, similar to what's already been stated, sort of look at making Wahiawa more walkable. We have a lot of elders that are out 5 o'clock in the morning, all times, usually in the morning, walking around, so it would be good. more people with it. It was safer, easier to traverse sidewalks and so on.
And are you seeing an increase in walking, are more and more people walking every year, or is it just the same?
Yeah, it's about the same.
Yeah.
We have more elders.
Oh, yes, yes.
Walking.
Boomers are getting.
I think having grown up in the community, Wahiawa is such a beautiful place to walk, and I think it's like so sad that people don't get to get out and walk more than they do now, because when I was a kid, we used to walk all over Wahiawa, and I don't see as many kids walking around. I don't think a lot of the parents maybe don't feel it's safe, and so I think to create a safe environment so even the parents feel okay with letting their kids go out and ride their bikes, because even for my nephews and nieces still live in Wahiawa, but if you let them go out to ride their bikes, you're like so scared that somebody's zipping around the corner and something's gonna happen. So it's more creating a culture to where it's a safe place for kids to be out, and you don't have to worry about near misses because you hear that screech of the tires and you're just like, ah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think I can share from the neighborhood board side the issues that come up on mainly for the retirees or the seniors who are walking. And there is an increase. I leave at different times. I leave very early in the morning or a little bit later, and I see more and more people walking. But what comes up oftentimes is that it's not well lit, or it's slippery. You know, there are areas that are slippery because of the leaves or whatnot. So I think that safety issue is there, and just that because they're leaving early, you know, that they would like to be able to walk where it's well lit and they feel secure. And it's come up where they see more HPD, just the presence of a, you know, patrol car passing by, so that they feel that they can walk safely. And I think that translates to the kids too, that parents feel that Wahiawa needs to be safer.
Yeah, a concern I would have is just the sidewalks. The actual place where you're walking are so uneven, and so, you know, it's fine to walk on, but it's also, you know.
I actually see a lot of potential for something like this, because a good walking area could be beneficial to the businesses in this town. If you had a bike walking path that went around the lake, connected to Botanical Garden with the freshwater park, you could really actually bring in businesses with that type of infrastructure. But maybe more immediately, how the cars and the pedestrian interact, not just in movement, but kids going to school or people walking in the early morning. Our town is changing in that we're still a pretty stable community, but we have younger generations maybe not moving out or moving back, and so we have extra cars for carports made for one car. Now they're parking along the side of the streets, blocking the sidewalk. So we have that type of problem. You know, you want to be a nice person and allow somebody to park, right? Because there's really no other place to park, but it creates a hazard to, and then when you do that, people tend to push the envelope. So now their awning comes out onto the sidewalk, and so the kids gotta walk off on a blind corner.
Yeah.
And so you get a lot of those type of things. So I guess immediately, maybe how we can have the parking of vehicles and the residents kind of blend, and the pedestrians blend a little bit better.
Good question. Yeah, that's true. Good point.
There's no sidewalk.
Maybe some suggestions.
Yes. Okay. Would you like to add anything else?
I'm here to learn.
Okay.
No, me too. I hear a lot of community will, I think, to have the elders and the kids out being able to be safe and walking. And so it'll just be really interesting to see and watch what you have and what the opportunities are.
I'm here also to listen and to find out. In our role, people ask, why is the Department of Health involved with cars and people walking? In our role, we see that the community needs to understand and desire to change. And so our role is to support people like Dan, and it's actually a partnership with Serene County Honolulu this year. And they're paying the bulk of it, but there's a community education piece to support change and to voice change, and then also it's helped me in terms of seeing the community and the layout with different eyes. And so it helps me to see people go through that kind of a paradigm shift, you know, to go, oh, I never thought about how a wide, expansive curb is going to take out pedestrians. And so we're here to be supportive and then to know what you want. We're your government, yeah? So let us know what you want. That's why we're here.
Well, I was going to say something sarcastic, like I got what I wanted because I'm out of the office, but realistically, I think, you know, if we can develop a community where we get back to the old days where the kids are out playing, the parents are out walking, the grandparents are out walking, then that also creates an environment that's going to drive away the people that are there for doing no good, because we can't do our job without the people, because they're our eyes and ears, right? And if we have more people that are willing to get back out and walk, then people that are doing things that they shouldn't be doing are more apt to go to some other neighborhood. Like Wahiawa. That was a joke. But, and then at the same time, you know, you hear about, I remember in, you know, when we were kids, we never had computers and video games and all of that. We were out in the neighborhood and we were all in pretty decent shape. And, you know, we need to get our kids back out because of obesity and everything else. And if the environment isn't where the parents feel comfortable about it, like Heidi said, then we're not going to allow our children to go out there.
We like to call them free-range kids. That's what we kind of were, and they're not usually free-range kids anymore.
Yeah.
Great.
I think a good example of what we're talking about is there's a map that I love to show in a presentation I do, where it's a big area in upper or northern Ontario. And the great-grandfather used to walk 6 miles to go fishing when he was 8 years old. The great-great-grandfather. Then the great-grandfather walked 3 miles. The mother, half a mile. The son, 300 yards. That's as far as an 8-year-old today travels. And we think about that. And there are many reasons for it, but the point is we're taking away from children their childhood. They need it. They need it for many reasons. So some of the communities we've been working in and doing the most intensive work, we were able to cut the healthcare costs by 40%, increase the productivity of workers over 10 to 15%, less downtime, fewer sick days, all the things that are healthier. Something we refer to as a walking Moai, where people group together to go for walks as a social unit. And although I don't think we collected the data on crime, my suspicion is the crime goes down as much. Sure it does. Yeah. We know it does in bigger cities, and I'll use as an example Vancouver, British Columbia. They started their journey to become walkable about 20 years ago. And the number of miles people drive dropped major. More people move there, and yet there are fewer miles being driven. More people walking, using transit, riding bikes, and the crime went down. So we know that if we can just make those transitions, we can get back many elements of health for people. So. But we have to start wherever we are. So I was thinking of walking out would be good now, and then we come back, talk a little bit about what we saw and what we can do about it. Does that all make sense? Okay. I need someone who's going to know where we're going so I can follow you.
Let me go get my car.
Okay.
There's always a way to. Have safety vests for everyone.
What do you